Can you believe that Mrs. Miller, our substitute teacher for 8th grade science class, is trying to make me partner with Debbie Herman? Debbie Herman? People like Debbie Herman about as much as they like Mrs. Miller. She dresses like Joey Daly's mom. Everybody makes fun of her, but I don't make fun of her. I just don't talk to her. I don't want to be her partner. I just want to be with my friends. And Mrs. Miller, she goes, class, today we're going to work on a project that's worth more than your entire grade. And at the end of 2 weeks, on Friday, you're going to leave it here on the counter, and I will pick it up on Tuesday. And then she goes to me, she goes, Mr. Cunningham, give me the gum. Give me the gum. And I'm like, every year, she's like, the gum. Give me the gum. Just hand me the gum. Spit it out. Not the gum in your mouth. Give me hand it over. And then she goes, Mr. Cunningham, you're going to be partners with Debbie Herman. And I was like, come on. Debbie Herman? Well, by the end of class, she realized that this was just not going to work, but that Debbie Herman and I both love science so much that we could work on our own, and we didn't have to have partners, which was great, except it was 8th grade, springtime, purple rain, breakdancing, video games, girls, not Debbie Herman, girls. And so by the end of those 2 weeks on Friday, I didn't really get all my work done. But I had a plan, and it involved the gum. Ever notice how when you chew Hubba Bubba bubble gum, the scent just kind of fills the air like Glade in a men's bathroom? It's just that sort of artificial scent. Well, I took bubble gum, and I jammed it up in the fire exit doors, so the doors appeared to be locked when they were really open for the entire weekend. And I went home and I worked on my project. There's no breakdancing, there's no video games, and there were no girls. Well, there weren't really any girls anyway, but a boy likes to dream. And I worked on this project. I did all the artwork, the drawings, the diagrams, paragraphs of notes. I organized everything. It was beautiful. It was the best science project that I had ever worked on. And then came Monday, 4 p.m. The school was closed, and I'm standing outside the fire exit doors, and I'm looking around, and the door was open. Ka-chick. And it was like Mission Impossible. Ding, 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 ding. Second floor. Ding, 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 ding. And I was in. The lights were out, except for the sunlight coming from above. And I put my project on the table. Mission accomplished. Somebody came in the door, so I hid underneath the counter. It was Debbie Herman. I could tell by her silhouette and those ugly shoes she was wearing. So I slithered out from underneath the counter, and I tiptoed behind, and I went, boom! And she didn't even move. Typical Debbie Herman. No sense of humor whatsoever. Debbie, it's me, Ben Cunningham. I didn't get my paper done either. I actually jammed the fire exit doors up. The school's been open for the entire weekend. You could have brought your project here at any time. You know what? That fat, stupid, ugly sub is never gonna know. And she hits the switch. Click. And like magic in the science lab, the lights came on, and Debbie Herman became Mrs. Miller. Mrs. Miller, who I just called fat, stupid, and ugly. The substitute teacher who I just admitted to leaving the school open for the entire weekend to vandals and thieves. The substitute teacher who's holding a stack of projects that's more like the weight of being made fun of and talked about like substitute teachers get made fun of every year. Mrs. Miller, who is looking at me, and she's not saying a word. She's just silent. And then she goes, we're not gonna talk about this because this did not happen. You were never here, and you need to leave now. Out the front door, Mr. Cunningham. And I walked out that front door, puzzled. Why? Why would anybody do something like that? And all I could gather is that deep down, she realized that I was a good kid that had potential. But that meant that deep down, I had to accept that she was not that fat, stupid, ugly person that I said she was, right to her face. And I graduated. I went to high school. I went to college. And during the summer, I walked into a cafe, and the sun was just blaring through the window, right down on this girl. It was Debbie Herman. And she looked exactly like she did before, except a little bit taller, and she gained 50 or more pounds. And we talked. We talked for about 10 minutes, and 10 minutes turned into a half an hour. And we talked for about a whole hour, and she was just amazing. She was one of the nicest people I had ever met. She wouldn't even let me pay for my food, and she asked me to come back, and I did. But she was gone. Something about going cross-country and organic farming. And I realized that the only time that I ever tried to talk to her was in that dark room, and it wasn't even her. And I have to wonder, if we had been partners that day, would we have become friends, and maybe in the future even more? But I'll never know. Maybe Mrs. Miller was trying to do me another favor, and I just didn't realize it at the time.